Have you ever wondered if there are worlds hidden beneath our own? Lost cities swallowed by the ocean, ancient myths that hold a kernel of terrifying truth. Today, we read diving deep into two of the most enduring mysteries that continue to haunt our collective imagination: the legendary lost city of Atlantis and the chilling North American folklore of the Wendigo. These two stories, separated by oceans and cultures, share a common thread. They represent humanity's attempt to explain the unexplainable, to give a face to our deepest fears and greatest hopes. So, let's start with Atlantis. For most of us, the name conjures images of a magnificent city, an advanced civilization with unimaginable technology, suddenly sinking beneath the waves in a single catastrophic day and night. The story originates with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, who described it in his dialogues as a powerful and sophisticated island nation that was destroyed by a divine cataclysm. For centuries, Plato's tale was considered just that, a philosophical fable, a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and societal decay. But what if it wasn't just a story? What if there's physical evidence? This question brings us to a mysterious place in the Bahamas, the Bimini Road. In 1968, a diver discovered a half-mile stretch of large, rectangular limestone blocks submerged in shallow water. To the untrained eye, it looked like a man-made pavement, an ancient road, or the foundation of a massive wall. The discovery sent shockwaves through the worlds of archaeology and popular culture. Could this be it? Could the Bimini Road be the first tangible proof of Atlantis? The timing of the discovery was almost too perfect. It coincided with the prophecies of the famous American psychic, Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet. Decades earlier, Cayce had predicted that evidence of Atlantis would rise from the sea in the Bahamas in 1968 or 1969. For believers, the Bimini Road wasn't just a discovery, it was the fulfillment of a prophecy. They argued that the perfectly aligned massive stones couldn't possibly be a natural formation. They pointed to the right angles, the seemingly dressed surfaces, and the sheer scale of the structure as proof of intelligent design. The legend of Atlantis was no longer confined to ancient texts. It was something you could see, touch, and study. However, science often tells a different story. Geologists were quick to offer an alternative explanation. They proposed that the Bimini Road is a natural phenomenon known as beach rock. Beach rock forms when sand and sediment in the intertidal zone are cemented together by calcium carbonate. Over time, fractures and joints can form in these rock layers, creating patterns that look remarkably like man-made blocks. Scientists pointed out that similar formations exist all over the world. They argue that the right angles and straight lines are simply the result of natural geological processes, the way rock fractures under pressure. They analyzed core samples and found that the internal structure and composition of the stones were consistent with natural formation, not with cut and placed masonry. So we have two compelling narratives. On one side, we have the believers, armed with Plato's tale, Cayce's prophecy, and the tantalizing visual evidence of the Bimini Road. They see the remnants of a lost golden age, a civilization that possessed knowledge we can only dream of. On the other side, we have the skeptics, the geologists and archaeologists, who rely on empirical data and known natural processes. They see beach rock, a fascinating but ultimately natural feature, and a powerful example of our human tendency to see patterns and meaning where there are none. The debate over the Bimini Road is a perfect clash between metaphysical belief and scientific rigor. It forces us to ask, what level of proof do we require to believe in something extraordinary? And is it possible that our modern science is still too limited to understand the achievements of the past? Now, let's travel from the warm waters of the Caribbean to the cold, dense forests of North America, where a different kind of mystery lurks. Here, among the Algonquian-speaking peoples, there is a legend that has been passed down for generations to us, a story that is less about a lost paradise and more about a living nightmare. This is the story of the Wendigo. The Wendigo is not a place, but a creature, a terrifying, malevolent spirit. Descriptions vary slightly between different tribal traditions, but the core elements are consistent. The Wendigo is an emaciated, monstrous being, often depicted as giant-like and skeletal, with a heart made of ice. Its skin is pale and thin, stretched taut over its bones. Its eyes are sunken, and it emits a foul stench of decay and death. But the most horrifying thing about the Wendigo is its insatiable hunger. a hunger for human flesh. According to the lore, a person can become a Wendigo in a few different ways. Sometimes it is a spirit that possesses a human, but more often, a person transforms into a Wendigo through their own actions specifically. By resorting to cannibalism during a harsh winter when food is scarce, it is a story born from the brutal reality of survival in the unforgiving northern wilderness. The legend served as a powerful cultural taboo, a stark warning against committing the ultimate desperate act. The Wendigo represents the loss of humanity, the moment a person gives in to their most monstrous impulses and becomes something other, something less than human. It is the embodiment of greed, excess, and selfishness. But the story of the Wendigo goes even deeper. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, anthropologists and psychiatrists began to document a condition they called Wendigo psychosis. This was described as a culture-bound syndrome, a mental disorder specific to the Algonquian communities. Individuals suffering from this psychosis would become obsessed with the idea of becoming a Wendigo. They would develop an intense craving for human flesh and a delusional belief that they were transforming into the monster. They would often become withdrawn, violent, and deeply depressed, sometimes even requesting to be executed before they could harm their families. This raises a fascinating question. Is the Wendigo a literal, supernatural monster, or is it a psychological phenomenon? Is it a metaphor for the darkness that can consume the human mind under extreme stress, starvation, and isolation? For the Algonquian people, the line between the spiritual and the psychological is not so clearly drawn. The Wendigo is both. It is a real spiritual entity that can possess a person, and it is also the name given to the madness that results from breaking a profound cultural taboo. The concept of Wendigo psychosis forces us to confront the limitations of Western psychological models. What one culture might diagnose as a specific psychosis, another understands as a spiritual crisis. It shows how our cultural beliefs shape our understanding of mental health and illness. The Wendigo complex is not just a monster story. It's a complex interplay of folklore, survival ethics, and psychology. It's a cultural mechanism for dealing with the trauma of starvation and the horror of cannibalism, personifying the internal struggle against selfishness into an external, monstrous threat. So, what connects a sunken city in the Atlantic to a cannibalistic monster in the North American woods? Both Atlantis and the Wendigo are powerful stories that help us navigate the unknown. Atlantis represents our longing for a perfect past, a lost utopia. It's a myth of hope, a belief that humanity was once greater and could be again. The Bimini Road becomes a focal point for this hope, a potential bridge to that magical past. The Wendigo, on the other hand, represents our fear of the darkness within ourselves. It's a myth of caution, a warning about what we can become if we lose our humanity, our sense of community, and our moral compass. The Wendigo psychosis illustrates how this cultural fear can manifest as a very real and devastating psychological condition. Both mysteries highlight the ongoing tension between belief and skepticism, between oral tradition and scientific evidence. Whether the Bimini Road is a natural rock formation or the last vestige of Atlantis, and whether the Wendigo is a literal spirit or a psychological syndrome, doesn't diminish their power. These stories persist because they speak to fundamental aspects of the human condition. They are the maps we create to make sense of a world that is often mysterious, chaotic, and frightening. They are the legends we tell ourselves to understand our place in the universe, to grapple with our greatest aspirations and our deepest fears. What do you think? Is the Bimini Road a remnant of a lost civilization? Is the Wendigo a real entity or a powerful metaphor for human desperation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the world's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown. Thanks for watching.